Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, this will be worth the wait because we have a man that hasn't been back on Sportswire Radio in months. And boy, does he have a lot to say. He's got a huge show coming up, first of all, an EBW Pro, where some guy you might want to say is a fully blooded Italian that's going to be there. Oh boy, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about what on earth did I see our guest here over in that little company called GTS. I certainly saw quite a bit of them there. I am
Yeah.
most certainly going to get into what
Yes,
happened
sir.
at EBW Forever. I'm going to certainly get into DBW because certainly our guest was in the danger zone, but not so much as corrupt Van Hansen was. I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll talk about who knows whatever else, and I'm sure we'll get into quite a number of different things because especially since our guest also defeated some guy, Chase Wakefield, who I'm sure he'll certainly be a topic, especially when it comes to that, well,
Oh
Chase
yeah.
Wakefield wedding invitational. And boy, am I going to have a lot to say on that. Plus, maybe I'll even have a thought or two from our guest on, let's just say, those street stompers, those Brooklyn prodigies that most recently have been here and who, oh, by the way, are coming back to DBW. But now, ladies and gentlemen, since we are here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that our guest and DBW helped build, Sportswire Radio, since he hasn't been here in more than 8 months, I must give him that introduction because you've been waiting for it. He's been waiting for it. And most
I've
importantly,
definitely been waiting for it.
you're going to get it. My lungs are ready to get it because I got my Mountain Dew filled, not quite to the top, but enough that we're going to make sure we give our EBW Forever Tag Team Champion, one half of those champions, that introduction that he will forever get here on this platform. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station. So, with without further ado, here on the Sports Report. Number one, global sports show, one half of the Forever EBW Tag Team Champions. Most recently, EBW Forever Heavyweight Champion, a man that has dominated DBW as one half of those tag team champions of hashtag the greatest group and DBW history ego.
Yeah.
A man that was certainly a topic because he graced that little old company, the seventh biggest wrestling company in the world this summer, GTS. His name is simply put from the group hashtag ego, the Prince of EDBW. Austin The champ is here, my friend. How are we doing?
You know, I'm doing great. Life is it's been up and down, but I'm still a champion. Life's great.
That's
But
definitely great. Listen, you're celebrating the holidays. You got gold still. I know it's, kind of been a yo-yo for you lately, but you're on top. You'll forever be on top. Ego is always on top, no matter if you have gold or don't have gold. And it is so good to have you back in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage that you and DBW most certainly helped build here on Sportswire Radio, my friend.
it's an honor to be back, Tom. I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad
Feels
to
like
have
home.
you. We spoke a couple weeks ago, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you're doing well, and we always loved you here, and we got so much to talk about, and it's good to be back to have you here in the holiday spirit, and there's a lot to talk to, but I want to get to something here first because we were speaking about this off the air, and I'm really excited about it because this caught my attention a couple days ago, and especially for those that are listening and watching here in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage here, the platform that you and DBW most certainly helped build here. You are going to be in action coming up here next Saturday in beautiful Lock Cluster, New Jersey. EBW Pro, and let's just say a fully blooded Italian is going to be on the show. And Austin James, tell us what we can expect coming up here. EBW Pro next Saturday with little old Nunzio.
Well, just expect the unexpected, as they say. We got a we got a couple of championship matches going down.
Yes, we do.
Infamous Montana versus Geronimo for the IR championship.
Better believe that.
Slim Risky defending his All American champion.
Yep.
A 7-man team turmoil for the EBW Pro Tag Team Champions.
Well, 7 is
And
7 and 7 is 7.
yeah, so 17. My bad, 17 turmoil to for the tag team champions. Who knows? Hashtag Eagle might be in it. Come check it out.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. And I'm always excited about EBW shows because I was speaking with the man that owns the company not too long ago. We had a fantastic conversation, and let me put this poster up here for the audience because we see some definitely familiar names. Eric Black. I'll get to Eric Black for sure in a little while with some guy named Chase Wakefield and Infamous Montana, who's infamously on here on Sportswire Radio many times, and he's also in our Hall of Fame, and everybody's going to know Nunzio. Nunzio, just a legend, and to have him here, I know we've had Ricardo Rodriguez here. I mean, we've had some really big names here before in EBW, but to have Nunzio here, what a way to end 2024. What a way, especially what we've seen him in MLW recently. We've seen him up and down the independent scene, and he looks like he hasn't aged since 25 years ago when I saw him for the first time as a kid in Brooklyn on ECW TV, and you got him here right now.
It's honestly like a dream come true. It's like how I go back like 8 months ago when you first interviewed me about Shane Douglas. It's
Yep.
like a dream come true. I never thought it would be possible, but when you take that leap and you actually go through that door that people are trying to open for you, you're granted these opportunities, and these opportunities are lifetime making.
Absolutely. And, you've been in there with some guys that have been obviously all over the world. WWE, WCW, ECW, and TNA. And Nunzio is no different. Obviously, Nunzio has cut his teeth, famously in ECW, had a stint in WWE with Big Vito, obviously a local guy here from Staten Island and Brooklyn. And he's obviously, Nunzio made kind of a name for himself lately, once again, back in the Indies and MLW. But Nunzio, what do you expect to learn from him or talk with him on? Just the fact that he's here coming up next Saturday and you're going to share a locker room with him.
Try to pick his brains like about the business. Like what can I do to get better? What can I market it better? Or how can I approach things more better in ways? Like how to take bumps better, lockups, like the whole 9 yards. Like I'm gonna pick his brains and try to do everything I can to actually learn as much as I can, because he is so knowledgeable. He is actually one of the best cruiserweights in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, he had those matches famously at ECW. I remember watching them growing up with Super Crazy. I remember watching those matches. I mean, I remember him in the ring with Tajiri. I mean, Nunzio has been in there, and he had a phenomenal stint in ECW the first run, and obviously he came back in whatever you want to call the ECW run years ago, and he had a run in WWE there for a little while. And this is a guy
that's in like 05 and something like that.
06, yeah, with Vito and Big Vito, and it wasn't, it was what it was, but he still was there. He was there in WWE. He came back in ECW for the, again, I say it loosely, ECW, but again, guy that's made a name for himself, and it's amazing to me AJ, is that Nunzio looks like almost the same from 25 years ago. Like he hasn't aged, and
Yeah, it's like
he still does almost the same things. I know we talked about Shane Douglas before, but Shane Douglas isn't really in a ring anymore. But
I know,
Nunzio,
like
he's like the
I want
same
to
one.
know what he's drinking. Like I want to ask him like, where's the fountain of youth? Because it's like he's not aging one bit.
Yeah, it's funny because guys like him, guys like Jeff Jarrett. I mean, I saw a picture of and it's like these guys look better now. Billy Gunn, they look better now than they did when I remember him. But I think it's so cool to end the new year, going into the new year, end this year off with Nunzio, and you're going to be a big part of it. I know it's got to fire you up because we're going to obviously find out what's ahead. It's been a big year for you in EBW Pro, and we're going to still get to Forever EBW in a little while. But it's got to
Yeah,
fire you up because you got Nunzio there, and you got some other familiar faces who I can certainly pick right there out of a lineup sheet. Eric Black, like I said, I'm going to get to him. Obviously infamous Montana, no stranger to this platform. Antonio Arias, I'm sure, talk about him. Autumn Breeze.
Antonio.
So it's got to motivate you coming up Pine Grove Civic Association next Saturday.
It motivates me a whole lot. It lights that fire in my belly, knowing that all these people are coming in. I gotta prove myself now at this point. Prove why I am the standard bearer, why I was the best international regional champion in EBW Pro history. I gotta
Absolutely.
take every opportunity that I can right now and move forward and become the best, plain and simple.
And it's funny you said some of those things because I also look at it. I know that the year's not over and we still have, again, another, whatever, 28, 29 days left in the year. But I almost feel like in some ways, shows like this, they aren't yet technically in the calendar year 2025, but they are kind of in the calendar year 2020
Yeah.
25 because it's almost like this sets the tables for you to have an even bigger 2025. I know 2024 has been so amazing for you. I mean, we talked about so many things. I mentioned you. Rad was here. Rad Dad could not say enough good things about you. The Prodigy spoke about you. The Stompers spoke about you on Friday. You've been getting the love the last few months. But I kind of feel like, Champ, that shows like this, especially next Saturday, they most certainly are 2025 without being in 2025. And this is going to set the tables for you for a even bigger year ahead coming up in
Oh yeah.
25.
No doubt. Because if hashtag ego seizes on this opportunity, we could walk in to 2025 as EBW Pro Tag Team Champions
Big
and
thing.
prove why hashtag ego is the best.
Well, you guys have
So,
certainly proven in DBW and many other places that ego is definitely not just a hashtag. It has certainly been dominance, and we'll certainly get to that. And that's the poster. And I want to talk
it's,
about a couple things here real quick on this. So it's going to be here. Tickets, get this, ladies and gentlemen, are only $20. And if you have kids 10 and under,
oh
just
yeah,
$5. I went to see Gladiator 2 2 weeks ago, and I paid for that ticket more than nearly
what?
$30. And with popcorn and soda, it was about $50 that cost. But guess what? I can watch ECW, WWE, MLW legend Nunzio. I can watch him and a slew of other stars like our guest, Austin James, for just $20.
$20.
20 bucks. I mean, listen, you can't go wrong with this. This is why we're so happy to be supporting EBW Pro. You
Exactly.
gotta
You
go follow
can't beat
EBW
that.
Pro. Yeah, you better believe it. You better believe it. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. I want to ask you one more thing on 25 because there's a lot of things I got to get to. I got to most certainly talk a lot about DBW for sure in a
Yeah.
bit, but I've been asking wrestlers this, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Like, what's your goals then for 2025? Just what is your goals coming up for this year in 25?
Well, for EBW Pro,
Anything. Could be wrestling, could be EBW Pro, could be just whatever you want it to be. What are your goals in 25?
my goals in 25 is to be the EBW Pro Tag Team Champions. And then go on and prove on why I am the prince, as it says right there, of BBW and become the next global champion. See, that's where my mindset is. Yeah, I lost to Kid Mike and Van Hansen, Murder City, his
We're gonna get to them.
squad.
Well, we're gonna get to them. We're gonna get to them.
But my like I've done that twice. You know, not like what have they done? They're not even worth my time. They got a lucky win. A win's a win.
Well, we don't even know. Listen, I'll even say this: we don't even know what their future is. I mean, we obviously saw what happened there, and Kid Mike said that basically he was the tag team champions, and he left
Yeah,
corrupt
like
Van Hansen in the
I,
dust
I,
there. And
I literally don't know what's going on with them. It's like watching a boyfriend and a girlfriend go at it on an on and off relationship. Like,
well, I don't know if I go that far, but I definitely know that there's some problems there in that group. There's no question that I completely agree with you that there is
and
some
you
major
see,
problems there.
ego been here strong 7 years.
Yep, yep,
See,
and you
and
guys,
ego is
and you
the
know
way
what?
of life.
It is definitely a way of life, and I think that that's why you might want to, obviously explore other ventures. We've seen what Colin's done out there. You and Roland, I know, have certainly been, out there, ace with his certainly way. But I think that the best is yet to come. I really believe that the best is yet to come, and we're, very excited about all of that. And let me get to my next item of business. I want to talk about what is going on in the world of Forever EBW. I'll get to DBW in a little while because we were
Mm,
talking about this off days. I was watching the match. I want to say about a couple of weeks ago. For the Forever EBW Championship, and let's just say, well, you and the infamous Montana, you guys have been feuding. It's just been on and off. What a feud this has been here for the past year, and I don't know if it came to an end, but it definitely reared its ugly head once again last month.
yeah, you know,
The way you said that was just, hysterical.
yeah, because like he is literally like the thorn in my side. He's like
We were
the
talking about this
kryptonite.
last year with you. Last year with you and
Like
infamous
last
Montana.
year, he is still the thorn in my side. I don't know how to get rid of him. It's like he tried to live in my shadow. I don't
I,
understand why. Is it because I'm a better champion than he was? Is he trying to do what I can do? I don't know, but I give him credit. He he beat me. He beat me for the world champion.
well, he said this when he was here, and he was here a couple times, and he talked about what this meant to him, what this sport meant to him, and he talked about just wrestling and the journey he's been on, and that's what's motivating him. That's what's fueling him, and maybe that's where it kind of came to an end here last month. I don't know. I'm just thinking about what he said here, and you and him. It's just
It's,
been between your groups. It's just been
it's
it's been a
far.
war.
It's far. It's far from over. Because he had something that I want, something that I rightfully should still be, but shit happens.
Well, I mean, we'll certainly
But
watch it for a few minutes and get your
yeah,
perspective on it.
but
And
the
I'm
main
sure you
thing
will.
is what really scratching my head is because I
What?
know I messed up, and that's when we all seen what happened at the end of the match. We all
Well,
know.
I'm going to put it up on the screen for the audience, and
Mhm.
we'll talk about
So
it. But we thank everybody here who's here with us on Sportswire Radio. We are here with one
yeah,
half of the Forever EBW Tag Team Champions. And before we do anything else, let me put this link up here. So if you're on YouTube right now, EBW Forever EBW is closing in on 1,000 subscribers. We're 114 away. Forever EBW 8539. EBW has been one of the longest standing companies in backyard wrestling history. We're talking 20 plus years that they have been going strong, and you need to hit that sub for me. Forever EBW 8539. Just do it. I'm telling you, just go out there and do it. Get in that holiday spirit, and we will certainly do that here. So let's now go to the tape. Let's obviously come back right to it here. I'm going to go right to that tape now because we just spoke about it here. Infamous Montana Austin James for that EBW World Heavyweight Championship. The world is yours. Dun, 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 don't hold back. Well, Austin James is going to definitely hold back right now on Sportswire Radio. Don't. Yeah, when we see this package here, and it's just been so personal between you and him. Just so personal.
it's
You can see it.
it's really has been like 'cause it's like two of the best in the business going at it.
Yes, absolutely. Two of the best in our circuit, and certainly here in the Northeast and the tri-state area, what you guys have been doing to each other, it's just definitely. I mean, it just speaks for itself. It just everything that you guys.
I stomped him out.
Well, you're gonna love that part of the package, but we're just showing before we get into some of the match. We'll fast forward it to just what you guys have been going through, and it's just been so intense. Just it's been it's intense. That's the way I could describe you and him this past year. It's been intense. It's been intense.
It really, it's he ain't like it's not over yet because he still I need what he has.
And he won't, I'm sure, agree, but I'll tell you what, he's still gonna just keep going, and that just we could just see it how you guys as ego are just looking at him and just smiling because it's going to be Fright Brawl 5 here for that EBW World Heavyweight Championship. So let's speed it up here a little bit. Let's go here. Obviously, we've got Montana. Montana's here, and we see shout out to a guy who's a referee, and we see you here, and obviously, we got everybody coming out to the ring, and we are waiting, and the infamous Montana is here.
Well, I actually sent the rest of the hashtag ego to the back at that point in time.
Well, that was
because I told him I would be a fan man and I'll fight him 1-on-1. The only man I kept out there was Roland Havoc.
Well, Roland Havoc for good reasons, but obviously, infamous Montana is coming out there, and just look at Montana just coming out there. He knows that this has just been what it is, and I think that he just knows that this is go time. This is really like end of the season and everything else and such. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like infamous Montana might be a pain in my ass, but I got all the love in the world for him. Like he works. He works.
He is. Let me tell you, I know Montana hasn't been here, and I promise to get him back on. But he is a man that he wants it. I mean, he's like he will go to hell in high water to get what he wants. So you may not like him, but as a competitor, you got to respect him because he just doesn't give up. And like that's why he's right now the man that is on top in forever EBW. I know you're going to certainly change that undoubtedly. You're going to definitely change that as much as you can, but that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. He's showing
that.
Try
to change that, but who knows what the future holds.
And Roland Havoc with the snow cap is always something that I think is a fun just to break the fourth wall, Roland Havoc and a snow cap. And it's so funny when you guys are coming out now in DBW to rap music, and Roland Havoc is like the last person I would think of will be coming out to it. But hey, it is rolling. If he's rolling on in the times, and we see the gang, and obviously you all are just look at you guys are just so more dominant than ever you've been. Ego is just continuing its run, and Roland.
Yeah, we're good.
Roland Havoc.
Gathering.
You guys are Magic the Gathering. Could be a card game you guys could have played, but obviously, thinking about all this. Roland is talking to you, and
once
shout
you join Ego,
yeah,
you never want to leave Ego because Ego is that highlight that everybody always wants.
That's because the fans love you. So whether they hate you or not, the fans deep down know that Ego. You guys just bring it, and that's why the fans have continued to, just be the way they are. And obviously, we're going to go fast forward a little bit in the match here because it's a long match. But let's get to it here. And obviously, Montana is going to try to use his strength, but you're not going to have any of that here so far. And you will see here that you're going to try to work your way back. But talk to me about the start of the match here and what the strategy was.
I was trying to actually feel test how strong he really was. See if he was really meant to be in this type of caliber match and that type of caliber level. I was really trying to feel him out and see if he was really made for it.
Why do you say that for? Because Montana. You've been in the ring with him so many times. Why do you say that?
I've been in the ring with so many times with him, but people can talk, but not a lot of people can walk.
So you want to see if he can walk the walk, Montana.
Yeah. I want to see if he can actually back up everything he said.
Well,
And
I mean,
that's why everything you
well,
see right now is like so methodical. I'm actually feeling him out. Yeah, he just hit me with a shoulder tackle, chop. I'm feeling him out.
you went through some injuries this year. Did
Yeah.
you prepare for this differently because of the injuries you went
Um.
through this year or no?
Yeah. I had to actually prepare for this one a whole completely different because I'm at my muscle right now is actually only at 45%, 50%.
Yeah, because I remember in the summer you were out, and that was a big topic. Because I am trying to think who I had on here. I think Tex was here, and we were talking about
Uh.
your injury. It was Tex? I think Tex, Silas. I think it was Tex and Silas in some combination
Yeah.
came on here, and you came up with your injury. So that's why I was wondering,
Yeah.
and how do you feel right now? I know it's been a little while from this match. How do you feel
Uh.
right now at the moment?
My shoulders actually at like 70% right now. It's getting better. So like I
70's
just
a lot.
gotta.
Well, 70's a lot better
Yeah.
than 45. I mean, 70,
Yeah.
70 means you
Yeah, at
passed.
that yeah, at that time, like the slightest movement, my arm just felt like it was dead.
Was there ever a concern that you came back too early?
Yeah, there was a quite a few concerns because sometimes I'm like, I wake up and it's like, oh, I should never did this.
I can
But
imagine.
then
I
it's
can
like,
imagine.
I the passion and the love I have for it, it's like I can't stay away from it.
Wrestling is life. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. And Roland Havoc did something to the ring post, and we're
Yeah,
watching here.
he
Yeah.
yeah, because he mocked the way I threw Montana into because I slammed his face right into that post. As
Well, you
I'm
know what?
giving
I
him.
tell you what, you might be 45%, but you're still going out there like you got 99% of you.
Yeah, because like I give it every time I step inside that square circle, I give it my all. Because
Oh,
who
no question.
knows? Who knows? Because tomorrow's never a promise. So
No, it's
I
not.
live every day to my last.
You have to. You have to. There's no question that you most certainly have to do that here. But you are working here. Let me ask you though this question
And
because you
see,
faced. Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
before you get on that question, as you see, I felt him out. I see what he did, and now I'm in complete control, smashing
Which,
him.
which was what I was going to ask you about because when you face somebody as many times as you have at Infamous, even though you are injured, do you feel like also it works to your advantage that you know what he does in the ring? You know how to prepare
Yeah,
for this. I was speaking with somebody a couple days ago, and we were speaking about it was actually Kyle Shelby who's here in the chat, and we were talking about somebody that he hadn't faced and how do you prepare for that situation. And sometimes it's easier to obviously prepare for somebody you
yeah,
faced
it's
as many times
obvious.
as you
Yeah,
have. Yeah, that's my point.
yeah, it's pretty obvious. Like I worked Montana numerous of times. It's shown. And every time it just gets better and better. He gets better and better. And it's like crazy. So it's like now since this moment, I actually know what Montana's actually about. I can actually pick him apart next time.
Because
So
you
next
guys
time,
can almost read each other's words or finish each other's sentences. That's why. That's
yeah,
why you guys
I
are able
know him
to
like
do
the back of my hand now.
that. Well, we're watching some of it here. We're going to fast forward in a few minutes here because I got to get to DBW and I got to get to certainly
Yeah,
GPS. But I mean, certainly you've got him right where you want him. Let me ask you though, going back to the injury, because
yeah.
it's one thing to train and prepare at 100%, but nobody's ever 100% in the wrestling world. Was it difficult to train going into this match? Because you still have to go out there, exercise, hit the gym,
Mhm.
go out there and do certain. Was there ever any struggles, or was there ever any thoughts that you said, you know what, I don't feel good today? Maybe I don't want to go out there and wrestle. Was there ever like that moment, even whether it's this match or any other match you had over these past like 4 or 5 months with the injury? Was there ever that thought you
Oh,
had?
yeah, I had that thought thought quite a few times actually because every time like I went to pick something up, just simply like this, it felt like all my pec right here was tearing,
Mm,
my shoulder was popping out, like I was regretting it. And I even went to go
mm.
get it checked out again just to make sure. And thankfully nothing's torn, just my muscles really weak, was really weak. and like it made
Was
me
there
practice
ever?
a whole lot.
Are you worried? Well, are you worried at all about that you could be doing significant damage to your shoulder on your arm long term?
Long time, I'm a little concerned with it, but
Because
then again,
Paul Orndorff had the muscle, atrophy there. He would basically one shoulder was smaller than the other, and he was never the same. He worked through the injury. I don't know if it's the same injury that you have, but he worked through that injury because he was in a feud with Hulk Hogan, and that was the biggest feud at the
yeah,
time. And he didn't. He should have rested. He didn't do that, and he was never the same. And we actually had another wrestler on, Levi McDaniel, who is the one of the guys behind in the IMF, and he's wrestled in Japan. He's wrestled WWE guys, and he has an injury kind of like yours, but he didn't rest it, and he's basically like he's got just about the same injury as Paul Orndorff, and he can't
mhm.
go out there. And that's why I ask, like, do you ever worry, hey, maybe I get that same injury? And because it's a long-term thing.
uh, I'm worried a little bit, but at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, I'm I'm gonna give it all to my fans, the people who watch me, the people who support me, or
Mm-hmm.
why I do what I do, and mainly,
Well, they certainly do. I
it's a
agree.
dream of mine. So, am I concerned with it? Yes, I'm concerned with it because I took a little bit of time that I needed. I felt right. Sometimes I don't. It's a hit and
Mm.
miss with my shoulder right now. But as long as I keep working at it, keep rehabbing it, getting it back to where it needs to be, I'll be back and brand new in no time.
Well, I have no doubt about that. There's no question about that. We're gonna
And
fast forward a little bit in the match
that
while you talk, but go
that's
ahead.
why I kind of lighten up where I'm what I do now recently because recently I was training with Rice City. That's why I'm thankfully Montana did beat me. But
Well, I mean, look, obviously, injuries take a toll, and those are things that you do, and you're in a long match like this,
and then
and you
yeah,
work.
it was long. It was like what, like 30 some minutes.
It was like, yeah, well, like 20 plus, yeah, close. It was close.
Yeah,
It was definitely close to 30. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't your
but
most
like
recent match in DBW,
yeah, I
yeah.
lighten up what I do. Like my shoulder feels like it's almost at 100%. Like it's getting better. But I lighten up where I'm wrestling, what I'm doing. I'm rehabbing, doing what I need to.
How about that spot there, the double super kick?
Ah, yeah, cause he knows that I love to actually catch people with super kicks. Like,
But he timed it
'cause-
right at the same time you did. That's a spot you don't see too often.
mm-mm, no, it's cause like he knows he knows at a certain point when I feel desperate, it's a quick boom. I can hit it right then and there. He must have timed it perfectly where he knew at that moment that I was gonna throw it, and he just threw one too.
Well, he's definitely showing his strength here. We see the spine buster there
Spine
earlier.
buster,
He had the jack. He had the jack. Was it the
the
jackhammer?
jackhammer.
Jackhammer. So he's showing
Yeah.
his ability. So if you doubted his
And
strength,
he did that right after I caught him with a V trigger.
let me ask you this question. I think I asked Montana this question when Montana was here the last time he was here. I'll ask you the same question. Because you guys know each other so well and have wrestled each other as much as you have, I would imagine that you don't really have to go over a match like this. You just go out there and call it in the ring, I would imagine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. When you face somebody at the caliber that Montana and and you just face numerous of times, and you get the chemistry right, you can just go out there and just do whatever. But
All right. I could see
it's still always important to call a few things when needed.
Well, I'm going to certainly call some of the people here in the chat in a few minutes. I want to say hi to everybody and thank you so much for tuning in. We'll get to you in about 5 or 10 minutes. We'll certainly let The chat have their say towards you. We are here with Austin James. He is one half of the Forever EBW Tag Team Champions. You've seen him in places like EBW Pro, Wrestling for Recovery, DBW, most certainly in that little company, GTS. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voiced
See,
figuratively and literally. Well,
I
some
did
reference.
a whole bunch of damage to his arm right there because the ref didn't start counting until like the count of 5
Well,
anyway.
I'm going to make you laugh. That referee is not used to being a referee. That's why. That
Yeah.
referee's had his that
Yeah.
referee, without saying anything, that referee's had his own recovery here over the past. We're glad he's doing well, by the way. Glad he's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're glad he's doing well. A good man, that referee is. But we'll leave that at that. If you know who the referee is. But obviously, infamous Montana is definitely working on Austin James here. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voiced figuratively and literally with all wrestling matters. And he's lifting you up here like it's nothing almost. And he's really not that. It's not like he's like 250, 260. It's just amazing to me that the
Yeah.
strength that
It's,
he. You know what I think
he's
about Infamous?
amazingly strong.
You know what
He's
I think about
he's
Infamous?
amazingly strong.
He's so deceptively strong. When I think of Infamous, he's just so deceptively strong in the ring.
Like
That's
you
for
would
me.
think that, like when you look at him, you think he's not that strong. You
You
think
would
he was just some guy who just came in and think he could do this. No,
I
he's
would
really
use the
that
term
guy.
that he comes across like he's kind of lanky, but then when you really
Hmm.
go look at him up close, because I've had him here a few times, he's actually is deceptively strong. So,
Yeah.
so that's the case. And Brandon Hobbzilla is a wrestler. He's a decent wrestler. He's a hardcore expert, and I'm gonna say, how you doing, Brandon? Nice to see you. So, Brandon, thank you for tuning in, and I'm glad you're well, my man. Definitely good to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll answer that for you, Zilla. But again, I mean, so you're in this state right now, and what's going through your mind right now? What's going through your mind
Uh,
right now? Because he's about to set it up here.
like I was thinking, like, oh my god, like he really rocked me on that punch. That's why, like, as you seen, like I was stuttering. Like I'm like, oh my god.
How about what you just
But I
did
knew
there?
he was
That's
gonna
why I
go
brought
for a
it up.
super kick.
But that was some move you pulled out of nowhere. I mean, you went from being one state to another state, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Well, you did that, and obviously, but you thought you had him, and you're talking to that referee
Yeah,
as if like this match was over.
I honestly thought I had him. I literally thought I had him at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that moment, like
Yeah.
nobody for One Ring Angel.
Well, you
Like
didn't
look
have
at it.
him, but you didn't have him, but he's continuing to go out there, and Montana's
Yeah.
taking his time running the ropes, and he gives you, I think, a shoulder tackle. I don't think it's quite a spear, but he shoulder tackles you here, and you know, that was that. That was kind of the match, and I mean, why? Why?
Give
You
me
just
1 second, brother.
okay. While you do that, let me read off some of the chat while you figure things out.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
we'll
Cause I
read off
gotta.
some of the chat while you figure your technical difficulties. I want to see. Yes, Brandon has been wrestling in a number of different places. He has been a hardcore champion in
Well, I'm
XCW and
not
other
having
places.
technical
Oh,
difficulties.
are
I
you
got.
good?
I'm
Okay,
getting
cool.
my phone's blowing up.
Oh, your phone's blowing up. Okay, well, can you hear me now? Because otherwise, if you want, I'll read off the chat and then we'll come back to you if you want. So maybe I'll read off the chat. We'll read the chat off
Yeah,
and
go
let
ahead.
you.
Read off the chat.
Let's read the chat off. Brandon, I got to give you a shout out. How you doing, Brandon? Very nice to see you. Hope all is well. I don't know if we've spoke on Facebook Messenger, but if you want to message me sometime, I definitely want to do that. Thank you, my friend. Glad you're well. Glad everything is well. Brandon's been very solid hardcore champion before in XCW and other places. I want to shout out my Austin. So she wants to shout you out.
Yeah, Hi, Mom. How you doing?
How you doing, Mom? Thank you for tuning in, Mom. We appreciate you, Mom. Thank you for tuning in. We love you for tuning in and letting you borrow your son with us here for the next 45 more minutes. So we appreciate that. We'll take this off the screen for a few minutes because I think we got the match out of the way, and I don't need to talk about infamous Montana. I got Austin James here, so we'll come back to some more comments. Let's go like this. Take this off the screen. There you go. Let's get to the chat. Zilla wants to introduce herself. How you doing, Zilla? Mom wanted to say, "Let's go." Hello. Yep. My buddy Comatose. You like Comatose? He is from Idaho. He wrestles in Oregon. Would like to say, glad he caught this. And I got to message Comatose because Comatose, I got to get him back on Sportswire Radio. So thank you, Comatose, as always, my man. Kyle Shelby, who's been a big DBW fan, very good friends with Silas Walker. So don't hold that against him because I'm going to talk to you about Silas Walker in about 5 or 10 minutes. Let's go, Austin. Mom is definitely on your side.
Yeah.
What's up, Kyle? Hello there. Everybody was happy. Everybody was happy. Zilla loves Nunzio. And if you love Nunzio, like I said, is going to be there in beautiful Gloucester, New Jersey, coming up next
December
Saturday.
14th.
EBW Pro. You better be there. Better listen. Who else is in the group? It depends on what company, but in DBW, it's Colin Graves, Austin James, Roland Havoc, baby. That's who it is in the group.
Ego goes deep. Like
Yeah.
you
Sean
don't know.
Phoenix. You just never know. You guys have had so many people. There's even members of the group that you had last year. I won't even say anymore. We'll leave it at
You,
that. If you know, you know. You'll always impress me. So Zilla's a fan. James Taylor,
thank
RWW
you.
owner, says that the RWW champion's the biggest piece of trash to walk the face of this earth. Well, yeah, I mean, well, that's a different show for a different time. I got Austin James, but thank you for pointing that out. James does say hello. Hello to Brandon. Hello to Brandon again. I don't watch XCW. Well, we got Brandon here, and Brandon's welcomed. Brandon's okay with me. So,
Yeah.
all right. So I got some of that out of the way. I'll be here tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. with Mr. Brightside. He's obviously another interesting individual, but I got you here. I think everything sounds good collection wise on your end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's before we go into DBW, I have to ask you then about wrestling in GTS and having that opportunity this summer. Rad Dad was here, I want to say about 2 months ago, and he could not say enough good things about you. And I want to ask you about that experience, that life-changing experience you had this past summer alongside your brother, Jacob Cassidy, and to have that opportunity to wrestle in GTS. What was that like?
It, it was like a dream come true, and it's all thanks because of my dad. Red Dad is one tremendous guy. Like
I
he
know.
didn't have to put a word in for me. He went on his own dime and said, "Hey, book these guys," and you won't like gave us an opportunity. And it's I've been watching GTS since 2012.
Yep.
Since he was playing with the John Cena action figures, like you can't see me, and like
Yeah.
this is his face. Like Grim Grim has always been like an idol on me, and it's like I always wanted to wrestle there. So with Red Dad's help, I was able to make one of my dreams come true. And who knows, sooner or later, when my brother's all healed up because he got a banged up knee, who knows, we'll be back out to GTS, and who knows what the future holds.
I know you've shared locker rooms with Shane Douglas. I know you're going to share a locker room with Nunzio. I know you've shared a locker room with Ricardo Rodriguez. In DBW, guys like Aaron Jones, Mr. Judgment, wrestled the Barbarian, have been in the ring. With other WWE guys, the Prodigies are obviously a part of things again in DBW. They obviously know a lot of these people you shared a ring with. But that's the biggest experience that you've had. There are people that come on this platform and they've had amazing careers, but they don't have the opportunity to be on that platform like you did in GTS. I mean, GTS is number 7. They're the 7th biggest wrestling company in the world. It's number 7. I
Number
mean,
seven, yeah.
it's only and they have more subscribers, more viewers than companies like Ring of Honor. This is a big deal that you got that chance to be there and to
It was
be alongside
It
that
was like
history that they
I was
have, you know?
starstruck. I was starstruck. I can tell
I
you
don't
that.
blame you. I don't blame you,
Like
you know?
just when I as soon as I showed up to GTS and as soon as I seen the ring, it's like I felt like a little kid. It's like, oh my god, and like the butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna do good? Am I gonna do bad? Hopefully I do good. Hopefully I impress them. Hopefully they like me. And Grim Grim took a liking to me, and you know he wanted me and my brother to join him, beat up on a couple of people, have some fun. But Grim's, I love it. It was like a dream come true though. Like it's a blessing. All thanks because Rad Dad. Thank you, Rad Dad.
Well, Rad means a lot to me for a number of reasons, but did you Grimm's an interesting guy. I'm going to
He's an
reserve.
interesting character.
He's yeah. That's what people ask me about Grimm, and I'm going to say all I'm going to say is Grimm's an interesting guy. But did he give you any advice in any shape or form? Did he give you any advice or any? I know with Grimm you didn't
Yeah,
get that much time to talk with him, but did he say
he
anything that maybe stood out?
yeah he's like he taught me and my brother how to actually throw some strikes more properly to make it look like, hey, I'm really getting you, and without you know without saying too much kayfabe, but
Right.
we gotta making it look real, and he showed us how to do kicks and drop kicks appropriately and how to bump. Like he actually goes through the actual necessary stuff that you need to know in wrestling.
Sure, sure. I mean, look, the man knows what he's doing. The man's been, extremely successful, and he's obviously had a lot of success. Did he? I had Gabe Sayers here, who's been a part of GTS for a while, and there was certain things he said about knowing the camera spots, knowing those angles. I know DBW, you've done some big things. EBW, I mean, these are major companies, and you know
Yeah,
how much I love those companies. But GTS is on another level. Did you get any
it's on
advice?
a it's on a whole
It's
different
a
level.
global, yeah, it's a global level. I mean, you were on that show, it had like 20 something, 30 something thousand
It's
views.
like yeah, it was over
So,
like
like, do you,
30,000 views,
which is
something like that.
crazy, right? Listen, I mean, it'll take me a whole year to get there. But the point is, well, I'm being honest, but listen, but it's all good, and basic. But
Hey,
do
you
you
never
get,
know. It could have happened overnight. You never
well,
know.
I have a
Dreams
couple
can
of
come
things.
true.
Well, TikTok, I'm actually doing really well on TikTok right now, but not about me. But let me ask you though, do you like, did you learn certain aspects maybe of like being in the camera or in front of it that when you go to places back like DBW, EBW, that maybe
Yeah,
you learned from that experience and such?
yeah, like pander more to the hard cam because that's what you're selling to. You're selling to the fans and the people who gonna watch it on the camera need to see what it's actually like what you guys are doing. Yeah, you got the fans in the crowd, but it's also about the people at the home who's sitting at home too. So you always gotta work the hard cam.
Yeah. I've heard some of those same lines. Did you get a chance to speak with my friend Jimmy Controversy when you were there? I don't remember if who
Not
you.
not I only had like a 2 minute convo with him because he
That's
literally
Jimmy.
he
You know, it's funny you said that. That's exactly what he does with everybody, Jimmy. I know him. I speak to him on a regular basis. That's Jimmy
yeah
for
the
you. Two
yeah the
two
first
minute
time I met
combo.
him I only met him like one time and it's like I was like, hey Jimmy, I'm AJ, like I'm Austin James, nice to meet you. I seen you on GTS, I watch you. He's like, oh thank you. And then he walked off and then like got his ass whooped in the match. But then
Yeah, that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. Jimmy. That is definitely Jimmy. There's no
yeah,
question.
I
That
only
is
had
Jimmy.
like a
And
2 minute convo with him.
now, I did want to. I actually do. And Zilla, she's asking Brandon. She's asking Austin. I'm going to get to that question in a minute, but I actually did want to pull up the match for you because I actually had it here in front of me. So here you were. There you were making history. There it was. What is that? Pretty cool. We showed it with Rad Dad was here. When
Oh
Rad
yeah,
was here,
that
and
was
I pulled it
like
up.
that moment. It felt like a dream come true. Like it literally hit me at that moment. Like,
Jay
oh
Luther's
my
here,
god,
and shout out to him. I had Jay Luther in a different alias, and you
like
got Jacob Cassidy and yourself, your brother. I mean, pretty cool.
being on a platform like GTS is like what better besides like WWE and stuff like that? But what better company than GTS?
Dude, I say it all the time. GTS is bigger than companies that are like have national TV deals. I mean, I mentioned Ring of Honor. There is Japan and Mexico promotions, luchador promotions that have the history that's, revolutionary, but they don't have the viewership that GTS has. I mean, you can say whatever you
No.
want about GTS, but
And
there's
GTS
one,
had a whole bunch of stars that came through there. Kurt
yeah,
Hawkins,
MJF,
Robbie E,
MJF.
Brett Titus, MJF, prime example.
Yep, MJF probably the biggest example, and you mentioned Kurt Hawkins. I mean, there's like some big, big people. And Jimmy's had a pretty big career. I mean, Jimmy wrestled Tommy Dreamer. He was just in the ring with Joey Janela not long ago. I mean, so like you could say like there's a lot of people that they went on, and that's got to give you some hope that what you'll be back and you could be the next one. You really don't know. You just
Yeah,
I
you
think
really
like
don't know, and you really won't know that until you take that step. That's
yeah,
what some people like. That's what people get wrong. Like, it took me a while to figure that out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pretty stubborn about some stuff, but it took
well,
me like, hey, I need to stop venturing out, be able to get through them opportunities. And
yeah, I mean, I think like, look, obviously it's an eye-opening experience, right? To be on a platform as big as this one. We love all our companies that come on here. I mean, it really, yeah, people might know us here and there, but really, GTS, there is people that might watch that you don't even know that might be in your town. That's you think about this program that you were on, we're talking upwards of 30,000-40,000 views. I mean, that's a lot. That's just like people really saw what you guys bring to the table. I mean, at this point, I mean, AEW might
I'm
get
not
less
gonna
viewers.
lie, I that power bomb
From Jay Luther.
was had a little oomph behind it. Like, I haven't felt the power bomb like that since won't have like that was a pretty good power bomb.
Well, Roland Havoc speaks for itself, but Jay Luther certainly,
Like, that was a pretty impressive power bomb.
Jay Luther's really come a long way the last several months. I got to
Oh
say,
yeah,
he's one of the most improved wrestlers, I think, in the circuit this year. He's really come a long way, Jay Luther. If you would have asked me
yeah,
last year that he would be on a GTS show with you guys, I would have said, Jay Luther? Nah. But
nah,
he's done a great
yeah.
job.
He really came into his own, and I'm really proud of what he's been able to accomplish so far and what he's done.
Yep,
Like, he really
absolutely.
came into his own.
I agree with you completely on that. Jay Luther's a guy that really, you love to see things like that. We love to see you do what you do here always.
Yeah,
You really do. I love seeing you do this here. I wanted to put it up here before I go into DBW. I had to put the matchup because you know what?
yeah,
I'm talking about it so much. How can I not for the chat show you here? And I
yeah.
want
Like,
to. Yep.
everybody loved that dive.
Oh, listen. I mean, and there's so many people. And how special was it that you got to share the ring with your brother while doing this?
It's like a dream come true because like grew up watching the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys, tag team specialists, and we always had a goal to win uh, tag team champions together, and doing it on GTS is like a history making moment. So hopefully,
Absolutely.
me and him can climb the rankings in GTS when we come back, and hopefully earn a shot at them tag team champions because that's a dream of ours. And just being there was like a dream come true. Like I said before,
Yeah.
like
Well, I mean, this
this,
is
and
definitely. I mean, you
it's
can't help.
monumental. It's monumental and emotional when you share it with your brother. Cause who better?
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it more special is that you got this opportunity, but you got to share it with your brother, and that makes it that much more important. And to be here with Graham and you're sharing the ring with Graham, I mean, just
Yeah, and like, it's like cause Grim called us when like it's like, hey Grim, you need a favor, we got you.
But it's good that
Cause
you got this
people
chance.
need to acknowledge the tribal chef.
Yes, well, a lot of people do, and Jimmy Controversy still hasn't been able to figure out to acknowledge him for over 10 years. I mean, that's,
I
you
know,
know,
right?
well, Jimmy will be back. I had Jimmy here on, I think right around my birthday. So he always comes. Jimmy comes like every 3 months. So Jimmy comes here in threes for whatever reason. But I'll remind Jimmy about your 2 minute convo that you wanted more time with him. But really a great moment, and you definitely deserved it. You guys all work so hard. I think.
Yeah, it felt a little awkward trying to talk to him as well. It's like, hey, and he's like he was being all like shy. It's like it felt like really awkward just trying to talk.
Well, I mean, everybody has their reasons, I suppose, and certainly, that's what you guys are doing, and it's just, a monumental experience to see this here. You're in the GTS ring, and you're there with Grim, and I mean, just like, I don't know, it doesn't get, there's an old adage, it doesn't get any better than this, and this is what you guys are just
Yeah,
doing
sharing the
here.
ring with James Gray and Jermaine Hill, Mob Hill.
Yep, yeah, I know who they are. Yeah, the referee doesn't
Ice
know
T
who he
knocked out.
is. Well, he's definitely on a street of dreams, and there you go. There's that moment, and congratulations. You should definitely be proud. Your mom is very proud, by the way. Yeah, your mom should definitely be proud. Want to say hello to my buddy Ace Reed, who tagged me on Instagram, which I'll get to the. I'll accept whatever he tagged me on in a little while. Yoshi Matsuda, all the way from Australia, the leader of Wrestling Zeros in the house. He'd like to say hello. Who else is here? Brandon said, "Yeah, we'll get to Brandon. Greetings, hello to everybody. Hello." And Zilla loves your ring work. Who wouldn't? And just a great moment. And we'll move on here because I think we've seen enough of Lisi and everybody
Yeah.
else. And, with Mama Graham, and we'll let them desire each other for another time. But we'll take this
Yeah.
off the screen. And I want to get to now for the remaining parts of the show because I got Forever EBW out of the way. EBW Pro. I have to talk about what's next for you in DBW. Danger Zone just took place, and what an amazing show. If you haven't yet watched it, go out there and please watch DBW Danger Zone. Well over 700
Yeah.
views already. And I'm going to put
Like,
that
what
up
you
here.
guys doing? Like, come on, go
I
watch the
was in, and
hottest
I was in
YouTube
the chat. By
wrestling.
the way, I shared on my YouTube channel, and I was in the chat. So that's definitely known. But like, what is next for you and Ego? You guys didn't win the tag titles. You obviously talked about a little bit of what's to come here, possibly. But we've got Merry Mayhem still. I know we've got like one more Thunder Punch show probably before that. So, like, what is the future for you and Ego coming up now?
Well, the future for Ego, we discuss what we need to behind closed doors. I'm not gonna expose too much
Don't
on
do that. We'll watch
what's
it on
talked about
DBW TV. Yep.
because what hashtag Ego talks about is pretty personal.
Got it.
And the main focus for us right now is just to find the next opportunity and just prove why we own DBW, why we are the faction of DBW.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, Ace, I remember what you did at World War. We all seen what happened. I'm not done with Ace by a long shot. But I'm going to circle back to Ace once I achieve my main objective.
Well, you said something about, if I recall correct, earlier in the show tonight, something about a singles championship. Was that correct? Because I heard a championship you mentioned starts with a G. Is that the global championship?
See, I want to prove that I belong in DBW, not just a part of Ego or anywhere. Just prove that I belong a part of the DBW roster. And the global champion has been held by many, many greats. Cyrus.
And that guy right now has got that championship belt.
Cyrus is one hell of a guy. And then
I know.
Cyrus held it. RJ Carnage. Ace
RJ Carnage,
held it.
who, by the way,
Like,
he's spread, and RJ Carnage has had some pretty big deals in his own right. He was hanging out with an Inoue family member or two here.
Yeah, like, and it's like the global champion. It's just like that. Workman Championship to prove why
It's like
you
the
belong.
Intercontinental title. It's like the
Yeah,
Intercontinental title.
and it's like ever since day one when I came in to DBW, it was just something about that championship that I always wanted. Throughout all the tag team championship runs that I
Mhm.
had, the two tag team champions I had, I always thought, what if I was global champion? Because like it just proves why you belong. Granted, it's not the world champion, but it's similar in my eyes.
Mm. And to have that belt, you are kind of like the workman's example of a wrestler. You are that prototype, but you'd have to take that title off from Silas Walker, and his run right now has been
He,
pretty legendary. It's
yeah,
pretty legendary
like
what he's done.
I don't know what he did recently, but I never seen him this motivated.
I think he's on the best run of his career. I think what he's done. Ask Big Tex about what he's done to him. Ask what we're about to see with Jacob Cassidy. Ask Nikki Chooch what he's done to him. What Silas has done inside the ring and outside the ring. I mean, he's pound for pound right now one of the best wrestlers anywhere, anywhere. And you've done a lot. I just watched you
Yeah,
in a GTS ring. You're going
yeah,
to be
like
sharing a locker room with Nunzio coming up here next weekend in Glockcluster. But Silas Walker, I mean, to really take that championship away from him, you're going to have to be global like to do that.
yeah, like I'm gonna have to be like I'm on a whole nother level. Like I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to compete like I'm at like the best of the best and prove like that he is just who everybody thinks he is, and that's just a mere human. He's not
You know,
immortal. He's not
and I tell you
legendary.
what,
Because
last year at
let's
this,
be honest,
yeah,
the only legend. Hold up, wait for it. Derry is Joe Keys and Joe Wolf. He ain't
yeah.
legendary.
Well, but I would say here's what he's
But
done.
what he's
God,
doing right now is legendary in some
yeah.
people's eyes.
Well, I'll tell you what I think he's done that I think is important to note. I had him on this show last year, literally just about this time, almost about a year ago. And look at where he was and look at where he is right now. You can make a case in DBW this year. Again, you can make that case. I don't know if he wins the argument or he wins the award. He very well could be pound for pound the best wrestler of DBW in 2024. He might be. I don't know if he wins it, but look at where he was last year and
If
to look at where he is right now. Just saying.
if you wanted my God's honest truth opinion,
Yeah,
I
you want him. I want to know.
honestly I
Yeah.
actually agree with you, Tom. Besides the immaculable and championship run that Mr. Judgment had,
Which finally came to an end, but we'll
which
leave that for
finally, thank
another
God, thank you,
time.
Castelli, for ending it.
Well, and Mr. Castelli, put, let's just say, Mr. Judgment on the cross there, winking a nod at the
Yeah,
end of the show.
he laid him to rest.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the ghost music will continue to play, but yeah, I mean, but other than that,
But
like you said, other than the Judgment run, I mean, look at what Silas has done. Look at who he's
Silas
beaten this year.
literally improved. Like he went from being just somebody who's known for being in Dawn's much as Corey Graves and just Graves to being this Silas Walker.
And here's a guy that cut his hair. Here's a guy that changed, but he changed for the better because
Yeah,
his
he's like
his fortunes changed
he changed his
drastically.
whole demeanor.
Yeah, he was this guy that was like, okay, he's fun loving. He's wearing the hat that Big Tex had last year, and he's going out to the ring, and it was almost like he was almost hanging on. Now, no, nope. He's put all that to bed, and he's on a run right now that I think we're going to look back on his career. It's one of the greatest runs he's ever had, and for you to beat him,
Honestly,
it's going to be a lot.
what he's doing right now is probably the greatest global championship reign in DBW history.
It's very well could be. Very well could be.
Like it's in that category because like what he's done is immaculable.
For sure. Because if look at who he's beaten, look at what he's done with the championship belt, look at what he's done for himself. And for you to do that, to take that title away from him, it's going to be no small feat. You know, you better be
And honestly,
100%.
I haven't seen a person like this with the global champion since RJ.
And look at where RJ is right now. Look at where he is, you
Exactly.
know, and look at
Like
where Silas. That's what you compare him to. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes.
his
Speaks a lot
reign
of
right now
volumes.
is
But it's
like
going to be tough for you to figure this.
it's going to be a tough challenge. But as of right now, I just gotta stay focused and just keep climbing the rankings. Hopefully, I can get there.
So I would think then that whole goal of taking the global championship, that's got to start coming up as soon as Thursday Night Thunder punches, right? That's got to start now because to get
Yeah,
that title from Silas, you got to work your way up. You got to work your way up the rankings. You were trying to get tag gold. You guys, you and Roland were together, but now we got to start this road coming up as soon
yeah, and
as DBW
it's
resumes.
a whole different atmosphere when you've been in DBW teaming for like
Absolutely.
5 years. So when you try to go and do singles, it's like a whole different atmosphere because like for the past 5 years you did tag work. So it's like now when you go on your own, it's like, oh my god, now I gotta do this by
Yeah.
myself. I ain't got nobody in my corner to tag out.
And it's also a much improved DBW. I mean, DBW's
Yeah, like
product has
the
improved visually.
roster has
The
improved
ring, how
a
about the
lot.
ring you
The
guys are in
ring,
now? I mean, it's DBW is like night and day, even from your last appearance on Sportswire. I mean, I was talking
yeah,
with somebody. I'm going to tell you this. I was talking with somebody on the roster after Danger Zone, and I was telling that person that I felt that what DBW's done in the last like 4 or 5 months, yourself included, obviously, it's almost like a baseball pitcher on the mound. Every time they go out there, they throw a shutout. Every DBW show, like the last few months, since like Universal Collision, it's just been one shutout after another, one shutout after another, one shutout after another. I mean, the content, the video packages, the ring, the wrestling, and that's what you're going to have to contend with to take that global championship from Silas, because right now DBW is a global brand right now. It's literally a global brand. And Silas has been that guy at the top of it.
like if you look back, because 8 months ago is when the last time
Mm-hmm.
I was on Sportswire. We was in a
Yes.
little potty ring. People was hating. People there was haters, there was doubters. And if you now fast forward 8 months later to the now 18 by 18 standard official
Yep.
and the roster now. DBW is evolving day by day, months by month.
I'll tell you even this much. I think that DBW, and again, this isn't a prediction, it's a spoiler alert. I think DBW 6 months from now, so 6 months from now will put us in May, right? I'll bet you that DBW even 6 months from now is going to blow out of the water what I'm just watching right now. I'll bet you any amount of money, and I think I'll win. And I'm not a betting man because I don't need to bet. It's a spoiler
Yeah.
alert. 6 months from now, even DBW is going to be an even better product than what it is right now. You know,
Cause yeah, like DBW gradually grows.
DBW.
We
That's it.
we don't give you the same basic content like how some people claim. Like some people claim it's basic content. No, it's not basic content. It's simple storytelling. Simple.
I don't even think it's basic. I mean, look at what we watched here in the submission match. Look at the Depew Jackson Snow match. I
Well,
think the Depew Jackson Snow video package, by the way, might have been better than WWE packages. Look at the
yeah,
Castelli Judgment feud. Look at
like
what we
the
saw with,
packaging,
with Riot City, Murder
everything
City.
about DBW is getting magnifico.
That's it. And that's why we need people to go out there and hit that sub button for DBW, because DBW is almost at 4,000 subscribers. Really almost there.
But
So if you're watching this, go hit the sub button and please support DBW. And I wanted to ask you, I got your story on Silas, but speaking of DBW here for a minute, I had to ask, because this is the reason why we've announced you being back onto Sportswire, is that the Street Stompers were here on Friday, and the Brooklyn Prodigies were here 2 weeks ago when you were chair, and they talked about their returns to DBW. They spoke about you a little bit, and like, what do you think about that? What do you think about the Street Stompers and the Prodigies coming back, and what they had to say about you and such? Like, what do you think about that?
I'm happy for them. Like, I can't wait. Honestly, they're great guys.
Love
Love them.
those guys. Yep.
Like,
Absolutely.
they're funny guys. Like, I love them. Genuine people.
Yes.
The one thing that I kind of disagree with
Mm-hmm.
is with the Stompers when they say get back what they never rightfully lost.
Yeah.
Cough. Hashtag Ego beat them and 2 other teams to become the tag team champions in the TLC. So
Yep.
it's clear as day that they lost what was rightfully theirs.
So you should, when they return, you'll just remind them of that. That's all. You'll just remind
Yeah.
them that.
Like, hey, brother, we took them from you, fair and square. It's on camera.
But
Go
don't
check
you
it
think?
out.
But don't you think it's fascinating that they're back, and that makes DBW even more deeper? Think about it, right? The Prodigies. You got Murder City, right, with Kid Mike and Hanson. Whatever's left of there.
With them being back,
Yep.
with them being back, it actually makes the tag team competition go through the roof. Because like the
100%.
tag team
100%.
division was already stacked. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many phenomenal teams. And just adding
Absolutely.
the Street Stompers and the Brooklyn Prodigies to it, it's just gonna increase the depth and how much talent is in the tag division.
Oh, listen, and I mean, I think it's almost like indie wrestling companies don't have a better tag division than what you guys got. We got Aaron
'cause
Jones on this. We got
some
Aaron
people-
Jones on this roster who drives 60 hours to DBW. I mean, God bless him. I mean, it's just getting better and better in DBW.
Yeah, and like the tag division is so slept on in the wrestling world nowadays. Not enough companies focus solely on the tag division, but
Yeah.
DBW, they focus on everything.
You guys
Not-
brought
they
it
just
back.
do-
Well, you guys brought it back. You guys made it where it's like, I
Oh,
need
yeah.
to watch that,
Yeah, because I grew up watching tag team wrestling. I love tag team work. Like I love doing it. I'm a 7-time tag champ,
I'm aware.
so it's like I love doing tag work because of the Hardy Boys, and it's like
Mhm.
DBW is the land of opportunities. And me and Colin Grave, we just took that opportunity and we so happily knocked it out the park to where people want to do it.
Well,
And
I mean, I think they're going to have to fill your shoes. They're going to have to fill those shoes,
I don't know.
those lofty shoes.
509 days is kind of hard to
Well, in
fill.
this company, and I think the way Mike and Hanson are, I don't think those guys are going to last 50 more days together. But I could be wrong. Maybe they'll figure it out. I don't know.
Hopefully they do. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. Doesn't bother hashtag Ego one bit.
But you got other plans anyway. Your plans is that you talk to me a lot before I get to the final topic tonight, of the fact that you want the DBW Global Championship. You want Silas Walker. So the tag
Yeah.
division, as much as you've done so much with it over the years, you had your own year-plus run. That's not the focal point right now. Your focal point is singles gold and putting yourself in a position to win the Workhorse Championship. And that's right now held by Silas Walker. If you haven't yet, go follow DBW. That's the DBW link. Dominating Breakout Wrestling. You can watch Danger Zone. We got several hundred views already. Thunder Punch shows have just been blowing up through the roof. You can go out there and watch so many great shows. I can't stress enough. World War had 1,100 plus views. We got DBW shows, Summer Smash, 1,100 plus views. Like I said, everything since Universal Collision. You could even go to say Total Domination, but I'll go Universal Collision. Shutout after shutout after shutout after shutout. Just watch all the great stuff. They are definitely the dominant force out there in the underground and pro wrestling circuit. We are here for about 15 more minutes with the one and only one half of the forever EBW Tag Team Champions, Austin James, the Prince of DBW. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportswire Radio, do me a favor, hit that sub button for us at Sportswire Radio 6570. But I want to save this topic for last. I could be, a jerk and put that matchup where you defeated Chase Wakefield not too long ago, but I'm going to go a different route because, Chase Wakefield, a man I know the Bitcoin billionaire, and apparently, he's got this whole Chase Wakefield wedding invitational here coming up. And, I know that you know a lot about it. I know you're one of the guys. I don't even have to blink and hesitate. I know you're going to be there. And I know that Chase Wakefield's going to be back on Sportswire on December 20th, 2 weeks from this Friday. And I have no doubt that I'll be seeing you here on it. And, first of all, what do you think about this? And, the fact that Chase Wakefield's getting married but having a wedding invitational. I mean, what's your, humble thoughts on this? The Prince of DBW.
At first, I'm like, he can't be serious. Because,
yeah, well, that's what everybody's been telling him.
And now it's after seeing it and realizing it and actually seeing the pictures of him and his fiance, it's holy shit, this is actually fucking real.
Well, dude, how about the fact that she wants it more than he does? His fiance, she was more for it than he was. And he's the wrestler.
Yeah, that shocks me too. Holy shit. Your woman loves wrestling more than you and wants it more than you do. Damn.
I didn't even know that she liked it that much. I mean, I've seen her here and there in the chat, but I was I didn't know. I mean, I know Brandon's, other half is always there. Okay, I would get that.
For her to
but,
want
I didn't know.
It's she gotta like it if she wants it.
No, but she wants it more than he does. I think that's so fascinating. From that point, he better marry her.
Honestly, I think she wants it more because it's something that he does and that he's passionate about.
Yeah. But there's some people, listen, that aren't as passionate about what somebody else does. But she actually happens to be as passionate or maybe more passionate than what he does. And I think that's, so fascinating. And, a lot of your friends and colleagues are going to be there. So I don't even have to blink. I know you're going to be there. I know you're going to be there. I mean, I don't have any doubt about it.
I'm not going to put too much out because it's probably not released yet, but I'm just going to say you might want to wear earmuffs.
Well, I'm going to just say that he's going to be here on December 20th, and he's got a lot to say. He's promising that. He's become a usual here. He's wrestling Mr. Wakefield himself, Matt DeMorris, a GBYWN legend. Ooh. I'm going to be asking Rad Dad about that. Rad Dad himself is actually going to be wrestling with Papa Bear.
Yep, the against Ecstatic and Goober.
Yep. Here you know them very well. You definitely know them very, very well. And the man that's going to be here, by the way, at the end of the year, Mr. Ace Christian's coming back to sports. While I was speaking with Ace, I know you ain't going to be certainly rooting for him in this match, but he's going to be in the ring against Drew Hood there. We'll have to see more about that. Two people that don't know each other. I think it's such a fascinating wild card match. Asher Christ and D'Angelo LaFlame. And what a fascinating match that'll be.
That's gonna be a bang of a match right there.
And then a man that you're going to be sharing a card with coming up next Saturday, Mr. Eric Black against Naeem the Dream Brooks and Sugar Dan Stofko, a man I've interviewed who's blown up in the independent wrestling circuit. I mean, that's going to be another banger, just another banger of a match. And the Bad Sons and the Stepdads, I mean, that's going to, like we talked about that. And then, Aaron Jones is going to have an open challenge. I mean, that's going to be interesting in itself. And then speaking of the Dawn's March with the special guest against D'Lo Smith, my buddy Andrew Lovelace, who's always here on Sportswire, and Nikki Chooch, who, oh, by the way, Silas Walker's already defeated. I mean, this card's getting better and better by the day. I think that this very well could make history. This could be one of the greatest wrestling super shows in history. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that too, because like the card right now is just stacked with talent,
And we
and it's
haven't even
not even
announced what
done
you're
yet.
going to do there. Because I know, listen, I don't even have to blink. I know you're going to be, if you're not wrestling on this show, I am going to have to actually say to Mr. Wakefield, why are you on Sportswire still? Because, like, I mean,
Nah,
if you aren't on this show, I would be like in shock. I mean, so I'm expecting you to be on this card. I would be like shocked if you're not.
who knows? I am. I'm not. Who never knows.
But you're showing up to the wedding regardless. There's
Yeah,
no
I'm
doubt.
gonna be there for him,
If you
regardless.
weren't
So
at the wedding, I would be like, there really is a problem here. I didn't really,
yeah, nah.
unless
I'm
Chase,
actually gonna be there for him, but
unless Chase was taking it to the heart that you beat him not too long ago.
I'm pretty sure he's not taking it to heart.
No, not really.
Me and him
But,
had our differences in the past, but
well,
he
I'm
came
gonna make.
back.
Well,
He's a different guy now.
he's a very different guy. But although I'll tell you this much, I think that chair that Cyrus gave him after what Cyrus did to him in the match there for the Anarchy title, I think that would be more of a problem for Mr. Wakefield.
Yeah,
Definitely more of a problem there. But all right, so
I-
everybody, if you want to follow the Wakefield Invitational, here's the link. It's the Instagram at @the_CW_invitational. Let me give a big plug to our buddy here, Mr. AJ himself. I gotta get a follow out for him because if you haven't yet, go out there and support this man. He is definitely a man chasing his dream, but I think that he's going to achieve his dream. I think that he's only got the best to come ahead for him. He's shown why he's done so many different things here. He's an IR champion, tag champion, the longest reigning tag champion in DBW history, EBW world heavyweight champion. The man has done so many great things here, and just you can see it here. And
See that?
and I got to ask you real quick, wrestling with recovery. What was that experience like?
It was incredible, getting able to play wrestle in front of a live crowd and a live band at the same time was amazing. Everybody had a great time. I met a lot of great people that actually I ran into at GTS before and seen on GTS. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah, you were like, hey, I was on GTS like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I was there. Like, 'cause, there's a couple people that on that card that used to be on GTS, like Mazzano
yes, I know Mazzano.
and like I can't remember.
There's a
few
lot of
but
people here. A lot of big names I see here, and it was good to see you guys do something for the community, and it was a great show, and I think it's just the best is yet to come. I just think the best is yet to come, and
yeah.
just look at what all you've done, and just you've just been on a great run.
See them prime examples right there, though,
What?
of Ace Christian,
Yeah,
Exhibit A.
yeah.
I deserve a rematch, but I'm not going to sit here.
Well, I think that you wanted something else tonight. You didn't mention the Hub
It's
City.
not.
I know it was
It's
controversial.
not as much as it's not as much as about I want the global champion. It's about what he done to #ego. Like it's
But you guys brought him
what
in
he
the
has.
group.
I don't want what he has.
But you
he can
guys
keep the
brought
Hub
him in the
City.
group. Do you guys have regrets about bringing him in the group last year?
I personally,
Yeah.
I didn't want him in the group because I seen track records of people coming into ego. Like I've been there and I've seen it all. Like
Yeah.
I've seen people turn on people. Look at Damien Fatel. He upped and left us.
Well, you had somebody else in the group we're not going to mention here either. So, I mean, we're not going to go there with that. But, I mean,
But there's a couple of people that were the part of ego and upped and left us.
But I guess you can
And
look at it at the time. There was a common bond because of judgment. So it made sense for him to be a part of the group. But it obviously turned out a completely different way. And it definitely caught everybody off guard. But he got what he wanted. He wanted gold. And, he used you guys, unfortunately, as a vehicle to that. And it's kind of, the way it
And I
ended
give
up.
him credit where it's credit due. He outsmarted us in a way. But I'm not done by a question. Like that Hub City Championship is the least of my concerns because I want the global. Like my main
And
focus
I
is that
think that
global.
that's to me what I learned is that it's not about Ace
But
Christian anymore.
I want revenge on Ace Christian. I'm not done with Ace Christian. I want him to feel the pain that he caused hashtag ego. Because we actually accepted him as a brother.
Yeah, you guys, you had him there with the shirts and the hat, and he was there, and you guys took him in, and a lot of people would have
When he
said,
was, yeah, we took him in when he was at his lowest of the lows, when his own daddy didn't want him. Like we took him in
his
and
daddy wanted
actually
to
treated
kill
him
him.
like one of us.
You remember that his daddy was here and said he wanted to put him 6 feet under. He literally said it here
Exactly.
on Sportswire. He wanted to put him 6 feet under, and you know, boy,
And we
time
took him
has
in,
time is
looked
different.
after him like one of us, and he does
Yeah.
this.
Well, you never know. It's like you said, there's no loyalty. It's only you got to trust those that and Colin and you and Roland have always been on the same page, and we'll see what happens. But I learned tonight. This is what I learned before I get to closing thoughts. And I want to say hello to Joku Yui. I want to say hello to you. Hit the sub button for us at Sportswire Radio 65.7. But I tell you what I learned tonight. I learned tonight that you've got even bigger things ahead to accomplish. You're going to try to get back the EBW Forever World Heavyweight Championship. We got a big show next Saturday in Glock Cluster, EBW Pro. We got plenty of unfinished business in DBW. Silas Walker looking at you. Silas is going to be back on Sportswire next month. We got GTS potentially in the future. And we got just a lot more ahead. And I think that to me that you might have had an unbelievable year. And you did this, get this, with injuries. You did this not 100%. The second half of the year, you said it yourself. You were 45%, 40%, 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to 90%,
45, yep.
and when you get to 85, 90%, who's stopping you? And you had personal stuff outside of the ring. So to me, I think the best is yet to come. That's why I want people, before we get to closing thoughts here, go out there. Please support Austin James, Austin_James 1998. Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on Threads. I also want to give a plug to DBW one more time, especially DBW. I'm going to put up the poster also coming up for next Saturday. Shout out to obviously our brothers in EBW Pro, dominating Breakout Wrestling. Have to go out there. Make sure you support. Hit that sub button for us. And I do want to say hello to my friend Jay Ryan. Jay, how you doing? You were the Shogun, but good to see you, my man. And there it is coming up. You're going to see a lot of your favorites in action at EBW Pro's Holiday Massacre coming up next Saturday at the Pine Grove Civic Association. Doors open at 5:30, bell time 6 o'clock, and it's going to be headlined by none other than the legendary Nunzio, who has been all over this circuit. Infamous Montana is going to be in the house, but that means Ego is right around the corner. Autumn Breeze is in the house. I mean, Eric Black, who's going to be at the Chase Wakefield Wedding Invitational. Antonio Reyes is going to be there. And get this, tickets are only $20. I mean, AJ is going to be killing it. I got no doubt. That's all going to start here coming up. We got Thunder Punch shows ahead. We got EBW Holiday Massacre. We got so many great things ahead. That's why you have to support him. Yeah, Mom knows best that you very well could be the next global champion. You could very well be the DBW global champion, and we'll have to stay tuned for that. But I think it's time to.
I mean, I'm hoping. Let's just hope. Let's see where the rankings at.
Well, we're gonna the only way we're gonna find out is by watching Thunder Punch and seeing you in action. That's all I can really say. You're going to be in action on Thunder Punch, and the best is yet to come. And I want to give you the floor. I want to pass the baton to you with some closing thoughts. Anything else, champ, that you want to plug, share, or say? I give you that opportunity, and take it away.
Well, first thing, I would like to apologize to Roland Havoc for losing the world champion.
No. Don't apologize.
I should have never lost the world champion. I was better than Montana, but I let my own quote ego get the best of me.
It happens.
So, Havoc, I'm sorry. I'm focused now. I'm gonna do better for that. And second off, I'm gonna make 2025 my year. Regardless what comes ahead of me, what challenges are ahead, I'll make sure I'll make it the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because you gotta be like water, flow like water.
Although in New York, we've actually really needed water badly because we were in a drought watch, actually. So we really actually needed the water up until recently. It rained a little bit, but
Yeah,
it actually
but
got better lately.
honestly, just keep you keep going, keep your ambition strong, keep moving forward. Don't let nobody stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. Because there's gonna be haters around the corner anytime and anywhere. As long as you just know that in your heart that you can do it, go out and do it.
Absolutely. No, listen, totally. I really believe the best is yet to come. And I really think that you're going to do a lot of great things. You're going to do a lot that I'm really excited about. And DBW has been such a great friend to us here on Sportswire Radio. And you've been such a great friend, EBW. And, I also got to make sure I do this because I forgot to do this here. And before we sign off here, I got to wish a big happy birthday to a good friend of mine, Mr. Ace Reed, all the way in the other side of the world in the land down under in Australia. It's Ace Reed's birthday today, and he was trying to get my attention throughout the show, and you got
Happy
my
birthday.
attention. Happy birthday. He's a good kid. He's a good friend. He's in the Hall of Fame alongside you, and he's the hardcore kid. He's the belt collector, and I'm watching something here on Instagram he showed me of him diving into a swimming pool and wrestling in a pool, and he's done a lot of great things. He's been a part of the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. He's been a part of Wrestling Zero here, ETW, you name it. He's certainly been a part of a lot of great things, and he's been a good friend. He's been a friend of mine for a year and a half. I think a year and a half he's been here. I think only 3 times. He should be here more, but Ace is a good friend. He's definitely somebody that I really believe, like you, the best is yet to come. Maybe one day you and Ace Reed will have a match. Who the heck knows? But you actually you probably
Who
have a great
knows?
match with him. He's got a similar move set to you, and I would love to see that. And if you do want to follow Ace, let me give Ace a big shout out because Ace is here. I know he's out there on Instagram, and let me give him a follow because it is his birthday. So Ace, hope you have a great day, my man. And the best is definitely yet to come. Definitely hope to see you one day here in America. I know you're there in the land down under. And thank you for all you do for our sport. Thank you. And also, he was a host, by the way. I was trying to get him to take over on Sportswire Radio. He was a host famously of a show on Instagram called the Wired Up Podcast. And he would interview all these different guys. And I kept telling him, I'm going to retire and give it to him on Sportswire, but he didn't seem like he wanted to do that. He wants to really be a wrestler, and I'm going to stick to what I do best here, but although I don't do much of a good job. But Ace, happy birthday. Thank you.
You do one hell of a job.
Well, we'll see. But Ace, thank you so much for your friendship. Thank you for your support. I'll make sure that I'll post this clip here in a few minutes, and you have a great day. And my friend, I want to thank you and I wish you and your family a very happy holiday. I'm glad you're doing well. I want to wish you also a happy new year. I definitely want to see you here in the next month or two. We'll talk about what happened in EBW and DBW. I'm excited, but I'm with you. DBW, I think, is the best it's ever going to be. And I think 6 months from now, it's going to be even better. So thank you for all you do. Shout out to your brothers in Ego. And I'll definitely see you here on the other side in 2025.
I got you.
All right, that was the
Before we go off,
yes.
Who knows where we could pop off? Like, if you want to see #EO in your local city, text me. Let me know.
Well, it's funny. I'm here in New York City, and I interview guys all over the place, and you guys, Glock Cluster's technically not really near me, but it's kind of, but it's not. I keep saying this all the time. I really hope to see some of you guys wrestle in this area, but I know it's so difficult to get into these shows here because the indie circuit we have here, it's like Warriors of Wrestling, but that'd be a cool one. Well, maybe I'm going to see what I can do.
Maybe, hopefully I can hit up a good old friend of mine, Devon McDonald, and see what NUW is doing.
Yes, I think, who was it that mentioned Devon? I think it was Silas that mentioned Devon the other day. So Devon Newburgh, it's still not quite near me, but it's near me. But yeah, Navon we've seen in DBW hours. That's a good one. So you never know. But definitely make sure you follow Mr. AJ himself, Austin _James 1998. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, ho, ho, ho. And definitely we'll see you on the other side here in 2025. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice figuratively and literally, but all wrestling matters. If you're on Sportswire Radio, we're going to go back to your regularly scheduled programming. And also, I'm here tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern time with Mr. Brightside. So who knows what's going to happen there? 9:30, actually. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night. Thank you.